Hello everyone, this is Data from JGX, and here we are with another mech review. Today we are going to talk about the Direwolf. So first of all, stuff in common between the various Direwolves: the agility. The agility is pretty bad. 10 Excel, 14 Decel. There are very few mechs with such low agility. For example, the Annihilator has similar stats. The Kodiak 3 is even worse. Or do I have it? Here we are. The Kodiak 3 is even worse than the Direwolf. Some similar, like some mechs with, let's say, equally bad agility. The Mad Cat, it's a little bit above 1318. The Basp too, 1318, but at least the Basp has the high mounts. Other assaults have a lot more agility. So, for example, the Highlander for PPCs is a lot higher, 24, 21. Even the Banshees are a lot above. The Atlases are usually above 20, 21. So for the Banshees, 24, 21, and so on. So the agility itself, even if you compare it with the Corsair, for example, the Corsairs, even the ones with high mounts, have a lot more agility. So the agility is pretty bad, even if you compare it with other mechs that weigh pretty much the same. As for the turn rate, again, the turn rate is pretty bad. It was like 32 before the Cauldron Pass, and now it's 35. This is one of the mechs that didn't basically get anything in terms of turn rates. So this, in the current meta, this is one of the mechs that suffers the most in terms of being able to deal with the enemy brawling lights. Because what happened is that before the Cauldron, the gap in terms of turn rate already made impossible for the Direwolf to and for mechs with similar agility to follow lights that come around you or behind you. And after the Cauldron Pass, this gap in terms of turn rate became even wider, because like mechs like this one, for example, the Firestarter, didn't even have, if I remember correctly, they had something like 70 turn rate, and it went from 70 to 100. Instead, mechs like this that already didn't have any agility whatsoever went from 32 to 35. So right now, it's even more difficult for mechs like this one, the Mad Cat, again 35, the Blood Asp. The Blood Asp at least has 40 to fight at close range. It's basically impossible. As for the torso turn rate, again it's pretty slow. Pitch angle is 25. 25 it's pretty much common across many assaults and heavies. Yaw angle 85, it's 90 for most assaults, maybe even a bit more for some. So the agility is pretty damn bad. As for the variants, it's worth mentioning that this one, the C, has a locked jump jet in the CT plus an ECM. ECM, good. Locked jump jet, bad, because it weighs 2 tons and it's useless. Like the class 1 jump jets, current date, we're in December 2021, they're still useless. Direwolf S has a locked jump jet in the CT and jump jets in the side torsos, so super bad, just a bit more survival in the CT than the C. It doesn't even have ECM, so this one is shit. This one doesn't have anything, it's just a suck of shit, that's it. This is the one with the most center torso armor, but it doesn't have any weapons in the center torso. The B and the W are interesting. This one has, the B has 1 laser in the CT. The W has 2 lasers in the CT. So ideally, and the ultraviolet has one additional ballistic pod per arm. So if you don't have the hero, you can do max 6 ballistics. With the hero, you can do max 8. So this one is interesting for 8 AC2s. This one, the C, is interesting for the ECM. The B and the W are interesting for the CT lasers. The Prime is interesting for the extra armor. The A and the S, they are just garbage. As for the possible builds, first the pods of interest. The ultraviolet has unique arms, so you need these to boot extra 2 ballistics in the arms, otherwise you'd go like this. Heads. The S and the W have an extra laser in the head. This is worth mentioning. Right torsos. The B is the one you want for extra DACA, and the W is the one you want if you put a Gauss, because it has velocity and more armor than the B. So if you want a Gauss build, you should go with the W right torso. Another interesting right torso is the Prime, because it has heat. So Prime, W, and B are the good ones. Left torso, the Prime has heat, and the W has range and extra agility. So left torso, you want to go with the W or the Prime. As for the legs, you want to go for the Prime because it has more armor. As for the loadouts, you can go with some sort of DACA, 8 AC2s. This one has a lot of ammo, a lot of sustained DPS. If you want to do another build that doesn't require you to expose with the entire mech, because it's honestly difficult to pick because it's too wide, you may want to load just this part of the mech. You can try to do something mid-range like this, for example. And then you load ammo and heat sinks. Ideally, you want something like 20 double heat sinks because the mech is hot, and then the rest of the tonnage you load it with ammo. Another, shenanigan build you could do is the Lerm one. You'd fit a shitload of Lerms, 320s, 115 and 110, with backup weapons to defend yourself from incoming brawlers. I don't know how useful this would be, but it's definitely a possibility because you have a lot of LRMs and also backup weapons. Then you have the large pulse ones. You fit it this way with double prime torso for 10 heat. You both heat sinks. You're not suggested to shoot 3 and 3 because they ghost. You should shoot 2, 2 and 2, so it's pretty difficult to use. Or you can fit differently like this because, okay, you get side torsoed, but at least you can peek. Like this thing is a boss. It is very difficult to peek with the entire mech, so you may want to put all the lasers on one side and make your own peaks easier. These kind of combos are my favorite, but they are the most difficult to use, so they're not indicated for even medium level pilots. This is very, very, very difficult. This is for long range, hard hitting, but again, it has ghost heat and stuff, low armor, low ammo, low everything. Like this is for comp level players. You can do like this on the W or on the C if you want ECM. I mean, the mech itself is pretty cold, pretty good. You need to be careful to the right torso because, again, all the weapons are on one side. I've seen a lot of people trying to put gauzes like this. This is stupid. There is no reason in the planet to do this shit. Because first, again, you would have to peek with the entire mech. And most of the times you don't have so much room. But then the main thing is geometry. If a mech is running sideways and you're trying to anticipate, and there is the sky behind him, the convergence is set to plus infinite. So the weapons almost, or you know, they will converge at max range, which is like 3,000, 2,500. So there is no convergence. If you try to anticipate, these gauzes will flip-flop, one on the left and one on the right. That's why when you're using a dual gauss mech, you always need to put them on the same side. You do this on the Direwolf, but you do this also on the Cataphract, Ilya Muramat. You want the gauzes on the same side. Always. And in terms of how it feels on the battlefield, like this build is my favorite. This is pretty decent, but it requires a lot of skill. You can see you cannot move, turn, so if you get pushed by something, you're pretty much screwed. It's a mech that I would never bring in solo quick play. If you're evaluating solo quick play wise, this mech is completely shit because you're slow and you're unable to defend yourself. Most likely what happens is that people will NASCAR away, let you to die in the back, you get jumped even by one stupid commando and you're gonna fucking die. So this is more, this is indicated like faction play, comp, or group quick play. You need another companion with a similar mech and two other allied with screen lights with some sort of medium pulses, small pulses and stuff. And then with this one you have a lot of range and hit efficiency and stuff like this. And that's pretty much it. I hope this one was helpful, and I'll catch you guys next time.